right, guys, let's connect it up. Welcome. May 12th. Let me disconnect this so we got good. All right, sorry, running about a minute late. I know I usually go out about a minute or two early. So today is Mother's Day. So hopefully you're having a good Mother's Day and we're celebrating that with your family and maybe your spouse and everything there too. So happy Mother's Day to everybody here. Today is May 12th, 2019. We're going to talk about, Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 4, 5, Walking Dead stuff. Glad you guys can join me. Lincoln, Madison, everybody here. Thank you guys for joining me this Sunday, May 12th, 2019. I was actually running a little late because I've been working on a couple covers on just for a couple books that I've been working on. I'm not just working on one book, I'm working on two books as we speak, so I'm trying to get that going for later this year. So thank you guys for joining me. Lincoln, Madison, Mark, Janet, Bobby, and everybody coming to join me. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to join today. I won't be able to do a live stream next Sunday because I will be in South Florida spending time with my in-laws and everything there too. Family's got to come a little bit, right? So tonight, Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 5. I'm very, very excited for it. Fabiano, best channel, a hug from Brazil. Brazil, very cool. Tamara, nice. I'm glad you guys can join me today. So happy Mother's Day for all you PT peeps and Walking Dead family on there too. So when I think about the idea of Mother's Day, I think about The Walking Dead a little bit too, because that's just kind of what we do here a little bit. Walking Dead time and Game of Thrones, the mother of dragons, Mother's Day, and all the mothers that were in the Walking Dead universe and as well as Game of Thrones. So I thought it was interesting, and the first mom that comes to my mind is Lori Grimes, right? And Lori Grimes is pretty terrible. She's one of the worst characters in my opinion. Not Sarah Wayne Callies. She's done a great job. She was a great actress, and she is a great actress. She was really cool on the Walker Stalker cruise. She kind of, when you get to meet people like the actors who play these parts, they are pretty cool, and it's awesome because if the actor is a terrible person on screen, not the actor itself, the character, like Joffrey, like, Ramsay Bolton, like, I don't know, who else is bad on The Walking Dead? I don't know. But ultimately, those people, Lori, Andrea, and when you get to meet them, the governor, when you get to meet them in real life and they're actually cool and they're sweet and they're funny and sincere and they care about you, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool, right? You're like, man, that's awesome. Especially on the last Walker Stalker cruise, like I said, the final Walker Stalker cruise. I have a funny story about it too, because when David Morrissey was on the boat, he said that he was in filming something, and it's tough when you film stuff and it's CGI. It's all green screen, right? There's nothing in front of you. It's, this green screen thing. And on Game of Thrones, they have dragons and stuff, and there's nothing there. And it's like, okay, that's kind of crazy. You have to actually, really act because there's nothing there. And he had this funny story of this guy that was just holding up this stick, right? And it was coming towards him, and he had to be like dramatic, like he was in danger. And he told the guy, can you do a little more aggressive or something on there too? And every time the guy was coming towards him with the stick, his shirt was coming up and it was too short, so he had this belly coming out. So it was kind of funny. You're like, man, you got to really do it. So it's kind of interesting that some of the actors have to be, really acting tough. And in superhero movies and Game of Thrones and Walking Dead stuff on there is cool. So what's up, Andy, Coltrane, Boyd, Lincoln, everybody on there too. So, Lincoln, nobody missed me. Everybody misses everybody, it's for sure, especially PT peeps and my Walking Dead family. So, Walking Dead, let's talk about it a little bit. Walking Dead will be filming from now until November. Walking Dead Season 10, filming right now. You got a bunch of people around set. I'm not sure who actually was around, who was actually seen filming, what was actually there, but a lot of people were out and about, and it was cool because they've been on set, they've been at the studio, they've been filming a lot of things, and there's been some insider stuff that some people have told me, and it's pretty awesome to see what's building up for next season. So if you know the comics, you know that we're going to be heading towards the Whisper of War. Now, will the Whisper of War be the entire season? I don't know. I hope not, actually. I hope the Whispers actually are just there for Season 10, and that's it. Maybe someone gets away and they come back. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm one and done, half a season, whispers kind of thing is good. I'm excited for it to be, the Whisperer War should be awesome. It should be great. It's going to be a clear side of, will the good guys beat the bad guys, good versus bad. Whisperers are bad. They're clearly bad. There's nothing good about them, which is good. All Out War was like, should we do this? We got to keep Negan alive. Can't get rid of him. Who's going to do this? Who's going to win? Or we're going to try to have that, you know? And it's like, what are we supposed to do with that war? Here, it's clearly good versus bad. Game of Thrones, good versus bad. The White Walkers versus the Living versus Cersei versus Dany versus, you know, it's just pretty obvious, the good versus the bad. And you have to have that in stuff. So I like it. You know, I'm kind of the 80s, 90s kind of movies where you got a clear good side and a clear bad side. And maybe you have a hero and an anti-hero, but a good guy and a bad guy on there too. And I'm hoping that you have a lot of going forward. We have the good and the bad versus they're going, you know, there's no blurred line. Like Negan was supposed to be a good guy and a bad guy type of thing. But it was like, do you root for him? Do you trust him? Do you not? He's got good qualities and bad qualities on there too. So it's just interesting. So thank you guys for joining me. Longtime listener and fan of your Walking Dead vids. First time in the live chat with you. Very cool. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you everybody for joining me too. If you've been here for the first time or the 1000th time, I appreciate taking the time to be here. So hopefully the connection is good. Hopefully you are celebrating Mother's Day with your mom, you know, wife, siblings, family, whoever on there too. Hopefully it's a good day for it. Sometimes the holidays are a little crazy to go around, and it's kind of nuts. So my family's all back in New Jersey, so I won't see them. I'm going to call my mom after this live stream, and I got to do some stuff around the house. And then we got Game of Thrones later tonight. So I know Janet's always asking good questions. Janet, Q&A, Brian, Civil War within the communities, people like Ezekiel and Alden stirring up some conflict. I hope not. I hope that Ezekiel is team family, trying to work it out with Carol. If she causes problems, or if Ezekiel and Alden, they cause problems, I don't think that should be good for the war. It should be Alexandria and Hilltop versus the Whispers. And if you follow the Whispers, or the Whisperer War, I should say, you know that some big events going to happen, most likely at Hilltop. It's going to be a big changing event for Hilltop, and it's not going to be good. There could be a big fire. We'll just say that, right? A big fire could be happening that's going to change the atmosphere of, the Hilltop. And it's going to be a big event if they do it there. Hopefully it happens. It should be a big thing. Also, I want to see Beta fight someone else. It was a good, decent fight between him and Daryl. You couldn't neither character could actually get killed off or hurt, even though Beta should have got more hurt than he did, in my opinion. But I think that he should have been, a little more injured. And ultimately, I want to see Beta fight Negan or Beta fight Aaron or somebody else. Give Daryl some other storyline, and when in doubt, give it to Daryl is my motto. But I don't know. So, Rams, who do you think in the Walking Dead show will take getting shot in like in 191 in the comics? I don't know if that happens again, because the show is the show and the comic is the comic, and it's major tangents. A lot of people are saying they're going to think it's Daryl. I can't see Daryl going out that way. Do you think it's going to actually happen to Rick in the movies? I don't know, because if you read the comics, it's so different now. It's so different than the show. I mean, Carl's still alive, Sophia's still alive, Jesus is still alive, and it's great. And I like the differences. It sucks because some of the show characters aren't alive anymore. Like, I like Jesus. Carl was okay, even though I do like younger Judith. Well, older Judith now. I do like those aspects that have changed a little bit, but Rick being off the show is going to hurt the show. Michonne eventually leaving on the show in season 10 is going to be harder, but I don't know if that's going to happen. A lot of people are like, oh, the Andrea situation is going to go to Michonne. But you can't get rid of Michonne, right? I mean, we can't have that. Michonne's my girl. Michonne's a big part of the show going forward, and movies, and connecting the dots between Rick and Judith and Daryl and the show and the movies. Michonne's going to be that connection point, I would assume. So, Fabiana Souza, my mom loves your channel also. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody too. So I don't know what's going to happen for the show for season 10, because I think it's going to be big differences going forward, because I don't know what's going to happen with the writers building for the future. Hopefully we get 2 more seasons with it. Like Game of Thrones, we're all done. So these last 2 episodes need to be huge. They need to be big. They need to be epic. They need to bring people back and stories and this and that. Like, I really hope it's a big, great episode tonight, really to shut the haters up, because so many people are hating on this season, and they're wrapping it up, and it's going to be tough. It's really tough to end a series. I know it's going to happen when The Walking Dead ends on the show. Even if it's just a hiatus and they eventually come back, kind of a la Star Trek style, I just think that people are going to hate it. People already hate the show now. People love the show. They hate the show. They're against the show. They said it was dumb since season 7 and this and that and like that. But I'm going to watch to the very end. I'm going to watch the Game of Thrones to the very end. I'm going to watch Walking Dead to the very end. I'll even watch Fear to the very end. I'll watch the Walking Dead, the third show, the second spinoff. So we'll see how it goes. Jason, I do think we'll get a little, if not a whole. I really don't want a whole Beta backstory episode, but it would be nice for Beta to have some backstory there too. If we find out that he is a basketball player or he's a wrestler, I would actually personally like him to be a pro wrestler versus an NBA basketball player. I think it would be a better story if he was a professional wrestler. It would be pretty cool to do that. So, yeah, Tamara, me too. I'm enjoying season 8 so far of Game of Thrones. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. It's a little this and a little that, and it's a little over the top. And overall, I think they're doing a good job with it. I think it's a good thing. So I think it's a great thing what they're doing. And to be honest with you, it's 8 seasons of a Game of Thrones show that might not have never happened too. Like, we should be thankful for Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and some shows that we have now, because back in the day that probably would not have happened, and I'm just glad that we had it. Mark Q&A, Brian, do you think Carol will go back to the shorter hair? That's a good question. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it being cut, actually. I don't know if she wants the short hair, but if Melissa McBride wants it and the writers want it, why not, right? But I think that she'll have a different haircut. Like, when people go through life changes, thank you, Jason. Love the channel. Appreciate it. And when people go through life changes, divorce, relationship stuff, major stuff, mainly like relationship wise, and it's basically a breakup or a divorce or something there too. People change up their looks. They get new haircuts. They change their hair color. They do major things. New year, new you, new outlook, new change. And I don't know if Carol's kind of doing that with Ezekiel, if that's like a breakup or a divorce or whatever you want to call it. But I could see her changing her hair, and I kind of wouldn't mind seeing her change her hair. It'd be okay. But I do want to see Negan and Carol interact with each other. We haven't seen some of those things, and I want to see some of these big interactions for sure. So, Oregon Poop, great name. He should be a biker. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool if Beta was a biker. That would go along lines of Daryl and Beta being connected even more. There's a lot of similarities to Daryl and Beta, and why not, right? That'd be kind of interesting for sure. So, Boyd, if Fear the Walking Dead gets as stupid as Seventh Heaven turned out to be, I may stop watching it. Well, I hope Fear the Walking Dead is really good for season 5, because I want the show to be great. I want the show to be entertaining. I don't like being other people and being like, oh, this show sucks and I can't believe they do this. I don't like being negative on things. With it, I try to keep a positive outlook. PT, positive thinking, keep it positive, right? But ultimately, I think that Fear the Walking Dead season 5 can and hopefully will be great. At least good, right? We got Daniel, we got Morgan, we got Alicia, we got Strain, we got John. We got some stuff in our favor. Last season was decent. I just didn't like how it didn't connect with the previous seasons, so I guess we got to get over that and move it forward. So, Janet, Q&A, Brian, do you have an early death prediction for season 10? I'm thinking Ezekiel, Gabriel, and Kelly at this point. I agree with all 3 of those, but besides Gabriel, I think Gabriel actually stays on, because I believe Kirkman and those people love Seth Gilliam. I think he's going to stick around probably to the end, especially with Michonne leaving. We need someone to run Alexandria, and why not Father Gabriel and Aaron and the council? Ezekiel and Kelly, I could see that happening. Maybe Rosita. That's my other pick potentially for that too. So I think Ezekiel and Rosita get killed off on the show, not in their comic way, but in a little different way on there too. So Negan's mayo sandwich. I don't think Gabriel gets his comic death. I think someone else gets that comic death. And who do you think that could be? If you don't know the comics, I don't want to give it away, but it's an epic death. It's a very memorable death. Like Spencer's is memorable. Father Gabriel's is memorable. The Pike lineups are memorable. There's certain things in the comics. Andrea's was memorable, but a little like wah, wah. But there's certain things that happen that it's like, all right, pretty cool stuff on there too. So, Hector, do you think the Starbucks cup was part of a marketing strategy? I don't think so. I think Starbucks lucked out from it, even though I'm not sure if it actually was a Starbucks cup. I think it was just that design of a cup, and everyone assimilates that to Starbucks with the design on there. But I think that Starbucks really lucked out. I'm going to go with it was definitely Sophie Turner's, even though she says it wasn't. I don't really, it's just a fun thing. It doesn't really matter that big a deal, but the Starbucks cup, Starbucks gate, or cup gate, or whatever you want to call it, was interesting. And you're like, one thing that got me, and for those who don't know, Game of Thrones, season 8, episode 4, last week's episode, had a coffee cup in it that was sitting right on the table when Jon and Tormund and a bunch of people, well, Tormund's kind of celebrating with Jon and everything, and they're talking. When in those scenes, they actually have Dave and Dan are actually in that same scene. They're wildlings, and they got, a beard and fake stuff on their face. But they're standing next to Tormund, basically, when Tormund's talking. Dave and Dan are both in that episode, in that scene, actually. So it's kind of funny. Maybe they put it there. Maybe it was there an accident. Maybe it wasn't, Mark, thanks for the reply. Welcome. And I heard, Mark, you let me know on Facebook that you picked up book 2. Don't say anything. I won't say anything about my book series, Fight For Us Book 2. But the book series gets better and better and better, and I'm excited for you to check out book 2, and hopefully 3, 4, and 5, and all the way to 9. And book 10 will be out in October, maybe a little earlier. I'm already ahead of schedule with it, but I don't want to rush it for any sense, any reason, because I want to make sure it's done right, and I'm making sure that the editing is definitely stepped up, and I'm then putting more and more and more of effort for editing, because I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm going with that. Unigod Q&A, I've heard about a theory that in Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5, Trailer Euron saw dragons. Do you think this might be true? I talked about that in my Will He video about Dario Naharis. I don't think so. They could do, if the writers and the showrunners bring in stuff, like I don't want dragons just to be there for this part. Well, extra dragons, Drogon's still around. But I'm like, come on, man. If they just bring that in and where have these dragons been? I hate it when shows and movies and stuff bring stuff in at the very, very end of seasons or episodes or, series to just end it. And if they bring in dragons for that, it's kind of like, all right, this is how they're going to win. No, I hope they win by bringing in Yara and the Second Sons and, Wildlings, and Brienne of Tarth, and the Knights of the Vale, and everybody comes to save the day and finally win a battle against the Lannisters on there as well. But I don't think there's other dragons. Maybe it is, but I just think it would be a little too cheesy for me. And I'm liking it. I'm liking this. If they do it, that's all right. They got to end it somehow. And if they try to do it, they try to do it. I don't do so. Tamara, where we got here. So, yeah. Hector, I don't want to comment on that or the thing about my book series, but book 10, book 10 is the one that's coming out. So book 9 is the one that, is I think Hector's referencing, but, some big stuff, some major game changing stuff happens there too. So it's pretty interesting for as well. Rolando regards from Aruba. Very cool. Happy Mother's Day and all the best here for your family. Good review and tips. Nice books. Keep it up. Thank you, Rolando. I appreciate it. Aruba in the house. Very cool. Very cool. For sure. Boyd, there are theories going around saying Troy is the guy in the hazmat suit in Fear the Walking Dead. Do you think that is possible? I don't know, because initially they thought Troy was going to be coming back. And I guess that could happen, even though you got smacked in the head by a hammer and then the thing flooded, the dam flooded. So it's not really going to bode well for your survival. But Daniel supposedly survived, and he did survive, and he's going to be in season 5. So I don't know what's going to happen with the guy in the hazmat suit, because if you watch Fear the Walking Dead trailer, there's a guy and he's pointing a gun, I guess at Alicia or somebody, and it's a hazmat suit, and we don't know if it's a woman, a man, Troy, Daniel, Madison. We don't know anything too, so it's just not sure what it is. So yeah, okay, so we got that. So I just want to comment on something that came into my head that last night I was watching something where my wife and I, we were trying to watch something on Netflix and a couple other shows, and we watch a lot of things. And I watched a movie on Netflix called Zodiac. And it's a movie that was made in 2007, and it's roughly, it's about based on true events and a true story in the 60s, 70s, and early 90s. But it's about, a true story of a serial killer in California. And it's pretty good. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., and a couple other people are in there too. And it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. It's a long movie, but I recommend it. So if you're looking for something to watch, I know that there's a lot of people saying like, "What am I going to watch now? What am I going to watch now?" It's like, I feel your pain because some stuff is ending. There's a lot of shows like Empire ended on Wednesday. That's all I used to watch on Wednesday. So what am I going to watch there? I watch a couple other shows, but there's not much TV on. And then Walking Dead, it comes back in October. Fear the Walking Dead comes back June 2nd. Game of Thrones ends, it's this week and then next week and then it's over. And then I believe that you have a documentary type show about Game of Thrones, and then that's Memorial Day weekend, and then June 2nd is Fear the Walking Dead, because we only got 2 more episodes of Game of Thrones, guys, which sucks so bad. And then we're going to be here for the summer, and then hopefully, I just hope that Fear the Walking Dead fills the void. Also, I do like a show called Animal Kingdom. That's on TNT, and if you have Amazon Prime, I believe you can watch the first 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons of Animal Kingdom, and it's on TNT, and it's a pretty good show. If you like a heist type show with some drama, with some craziness, and some brothers being crazy, and some story like that too, you'll like it, and I'd recommend it too for something to watch too. Asifer Fig, great name. To be honest, he thinks The Walking Dead is greater than Game of Thrones. Good. More power to you. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to say any of that stuff. But it's one of those things that I like both shows, and both shows have good quality about them too. And yep, Boyd Minkus from Boy Meets World, who was also in The Walking Dead Season 8, Minkus, is in the opening scene of Zodiac, and saw him immediately. Was like, Minkus! He's always Minkus. Like, I don't even know his real name, but he's Minkus from Boy Meets World. It's pretty funny when you have those iconic roles. Like, Kit Harington's always going to be Jon Snow. And Peter Dinklage, I know is Peter Dinklage, but he's Tyrion. And, it's just crazy when you have those big iconic roles, you're going to remember them for that part. Timer, did you hear that theory that Danny will turn into a dragon? I don't think so. This isn't Mortal Kombat where we have animalities where people turn into, like Liu Kang is like a dragon. And that's kind of crazy, right? I mean, there's just so many theories going around about this, about that, about this, about that. It's the summer speculation, even though we're not in the summer yet. I think it's still springtime. But I think that we're going to get more and more and more talk about Fear the Walking Dead. The Walking Dead movies, The Walking Dead spinoffs, the Game of Thrones prequels. Even though I want to see the prequel of Game of Thrones of Robert's Rebellion. I want to see Robert Baratheon, not King Robert at the time, Robert Baratheon, Ned Stark, Aerys Targaryen, Lyanna Stark. I want to see that kind of whole thing happen, and Robert's Rebellion to start this whole thing in motion. It could be 1 season. It could be, 6 episodes or something, but I think that would be really awesome to bridge the gap a little bit for sure. I think it would be pretty cool. So, sorry, I missed a couple questions here. Mark, Bry, are you going to be in Vegas when The Walking Dead returns? Yes, I'm going to be in Las Vegas the end of October. I'm just blanking on the dates right now, but I'm going to be in Las Vegas the Thursday, Friday-ish. I forget when we're actually going. End of October, and then we're going to be in Oregon, and then we come back Monday. So I'm going to miss 1 episode of The Walking Dead. It's the end of October, so by that time it might be the second or third week of season 10. So I won't be able to do a live stream and stuff on there too. But I will be in Las Vegas there because it's a trip that my wife and I have been waiting for a long, long time. So we're finally getting around to doing it for sure. So. I know I saw a couple other questions. Sorry, it just jumped on me. Janet Q&A Brian, who do you think will be the next villain on Fear? They need to up their game a bit, in my opinion. Sharpie Lady seemed like an okay concept that was fleshed out enough and fell flat. Yes. Martha was terrible. The worst villain in the Walking Dead universe, I believe. And then before that was the Vultures, was like pretty weak too. So I wouldn't mind if the Whitey Boy was the villain, but I would actually want him to be more of an anti-hero. I don't know who's going to be the villain. I hope they have an epic villain. They need to have an awesome villain, because if there's no villains, all you're dealing with is zombies, and they should be really pretty proficient at killing zombies right now. Well, walkers, I call them walkers. But yes, they should have that, but they need a villain for sure. Hector, do you think there are more dragons left besides the one obvious one? I don't think so. I think Drogon is the last dragon. It would be awesome if they did, but where have they been this entire time? And why weren't they recruited to, burn up the Night King and the White Walkers and the Whites? Why weren't they around for that? That was pretty necessary, right? But I do want to see Drogon and Dany light up King's Landing and Dracarys. Should be, right? M King didn't get a notification. So, yeah, guys, I don't know what's been going up with notifications. Some people aren't getting notifications for some of the videos. I don't know why. I posted a video every day so far since The Walking Dead went off. So I've had this one. I got a Game of Thrones one. We had a mystery box yesterday that we bought it at Target. We went to a hibachi thing, and then we went to Target, and then a couple other things, and there was a mystery box there. I was like, let's get it, right? A little, just purchase. Why not? Let's check it out. I don't mind getting that. And he's actually there. There's all these behind me are definitely from mystery boxes or from eBay as well. So exactly. No villain, no tension. And we need some tension. We need a good guy and a bad guy. And that's what's great about Game of Thrones. You have this villain and that villain and this group and that group. And then this person twists on this person. And then the White Walkers and the Night King. And a lot of people are pissed about the Night King and the story, how it ended. If it actually ended, right? Maybe it comes back still. We still have 2 episodes, and maybe it's not done. That would be a nice little twist, and maybe can appease some people too. Joey the Gator, very cool. Joey the Gator is graduating from high school this Wednesday. Very good, Joey the Gator. And then where are you going? College? What are we doing there, Joey the Gator, after high school? Congratulations, by the way. Graduating on Wednesday. Very cool stuff. So I did not watch Chernobyl. I know a couple people that I work with are very excited for that, and because it's kind of a cool thing, that whole concept of Chernobyl. It's kind of about time they have a story about it too. So yeah. Tamara's been waiting for 100 years since last Sunday for 9 p.m. tonight. Yes, I've been excited for this moment because it's like finally King's Landing, Dany, dragons, then dragon, Unsullied, Dothraki, ready to go, and then we lost a lot of people. We lost too many people too, for sure. So, M King, who is or was the worst villain besides Cersei? The worst villain is debatable. The worst, I would go with Joffrey and Ramsay are actually way worse than Cersei ever could be, because they're just terrible, and you're just like, I hate them. I'm not a big fan of Cersei, but she's kind of minor compared to what Joffrey has done, and even though she kind of played Joffrey a little bit and did some of the things there too. But Ramsay was pretty terrible for sure. Efren, do you feel 3 spinoff for Game of Thrones is a good thing or a bad thing? I think it could be too much. Like, one of the spinoffs of Game of Thrones is supposed to be so far before any of these characters existed, in a world and a galaxy far, far away. No, I don't know. Just in a timeline that was so far away. And if it doesn't connect to any of these characters, I don't really see a nice way to connect and want to watch it personally, myself. But I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a try. I personally want to see Robert's Rebellion as one of the spinoffs, and something connecting to these characters would be pretty cool. I think that would be the best way of doing it, and we'll see. And if you know this channel, you know I haven't read the Game of Thrones books. I watch the show. And a lot of people are pissed that the show is doing this to end, but the books are one way, and they're this, and all this character development was kind of for nothing in their opinion. And I can see that. I can see a lot of theirs too, but it is what it is, and I think they're doing a pretty good job for sure. So I think they've done a good job overall, because something's got to get cut for sure. Rams, do you think the new Walker in Fear might be from a satellite radiation that fell? As Scott Gimple said, that it would be a sci-fi element. Yeah, I don't know what they want to do. It's supposed to be this big universal step that's going to open up the world. This Walker is going to be doing this. And I was thinking about this the other day. What could it be besides a Walker that was cured? I don't know, right? I mean, what's it going to be? A Walker is a Walker. It doesn't matter. It's a zombie. It is if it's radioactive, if it's missing legs, if it's missing eyes, if it's missing arms, if it's missing appendages, if it's this, if it's, missing teeth, if it's a woman, a man, fat, skinny, it doesn't matter. It's just a Walker. A Walker is a Walker. The only thing that it could be different is if it was a Walker that was cured somehow, if they want to go that route. But I don't know if they really want to or not. It just kind of has an ending in mind. And I don't think a zombie apocalypse is all about being cured. I can see that being the one way to end it, but I don't know. I don't know if Kirkman and those guys want to really do that. So, Joey the Gator, when is Walking Dead coming back? October something. Maybe, I don't know. It's probably going to be the second or third week. Typically, it's second or third week in October. Second or third Sunday in October. Brian from Janet. Do you think there is any possibility that Rick's brother might show up in the movies? That would be interesting and would certainly be a shock. For those who don't know, Rick has a brother. There was one issue of that. It was in France, I believe. I could be wrong. I can't remember if it is, but Rick had a brother. I say had because that character did not survive. And maybe. But I would assume that I think Gimple is going to do his own thing. I think Gimple is going to bring in some things. I don't know if Gimple wants to have all the pub and think that he's doing a great job and building it up, but a lot of people do not like his decisions. And I can see that, and I feel for those people, and I agree with some of those people. But Rick is going to be the focal point of the movies. If you bring in the brother, then you have another focal point. You kind of want to keep too many focal points drives the thing all over the place, in my opinion, too. So you can have other characters. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very important to have secondary and tertiary characters. I think some of those are actually better than the actual main characters in a lot of opinions. But Rick's got to be the main focal point, and we'll see what happens there, too. And we'll see if Gimple wants to do his own thing or they're going to bring in stuff from the movies and the show, and the comics to the movies from the show on there, too. So. Anyone see the Starbucks coffee cup? Yeah, before they edited. Yeah, I saw it. I definitely have it. I got the pictures on there too, and it's kind of funny. And there's actually another funny picture of Jaime Lannister, Nikolai Wander, whatever you say his name is. He has a coffee cup in his hand when he's standing next to Tommen and Tywin Lannister in the hall at King's Landing, and he's got a coffee cup in his hand if you zoom in on it too. So the coffee cup strike again. We'll see. Keep your eyes. You never know. A coffee cup might come flying in. Also, the word is tonight in Game of Thrones, spoiler warning. Oh, it's a minor spoiler warning. That, if you don't want to know, spoiler warning, that it's supposed to be a cameo tonight is the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. I'm blanking on his name, Aaron Rodgers. So we've had a couple different people in the first episode, and then the second episode had some country singer or something. I don't know if he was in second or third episode. And then we had the showrunners in episode 4. Tonight it's supposed to be Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know if there's anybody else, but keep your eye out for some cameos. They happen so fast, though, too. It's like, man, it's crazy, right? Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Do you know if they are premiering early for AMC premiere, Walking Dead season 10? I don't know. That's a good question, Joey. I don't know. It's so far away. They're still filming season 1, episode 1, season 10, episode 1 this week. I think they'll wrap up that because they started filming last Monday, and it usually takes them 7 to 10 days, so roughly about 2 weeks. 10 days is 2 weeks filming, Monday through Friday. And so they're still filming that. And then I believe Michael Cutlass will be seen again. So if you see a lot of news going around on Instagram or other channels, Michael Cutlass is probably there being a director for episode 2 or 3. But I heard the early word was for episode 2. So he'll be back, hopefully, not this upcoming week, in 2 weeks for that. So we'll see what happens. But if you see Michael Cutlass around set, it's probably because he's going to be a director and not for a flashback or some sort of cameo. But the word is that his show, Kids Are All Right, the Kids Are All Right on ABC got canceled. The Passage got canceled. The Gifted got canceled. Still waiting on the Whiskey Cavalier cancellation talk, but it's been a lot of stuff going around, and I didn't really watch The Kids Are All Right, but I like Michael Cullitz for sure. So, Mark Simmons, Bry, what could drive Michonne away from the group? Rick. The only thing I think Michonne would leave is to find Rick, because we know how important it is. How important. She spent the past 6 years looking for Rick, going out with Daryl, looking for Rick, going to the bridge, trying to find him, going all over the place. So the only reason Michonne would ever leave is for Rick, to find Rick. So at some point, I would assume there's going to be a transmission or some way, some message, some way that in some reason that they know that Rick is still alive from the radio, most likely, in my opinion. So I could see Michonne saying, to the boats, to the fleet, Yara, come get me and take me over to find Rick Grimes. So, but yeah, Mac from Sunny. It's always sunny in Philadelphia, that's sure. But I don't know, guys. It's going to be a tough year after this year, right? Because 2019 is we're in May right now, the 5th month of 2019. So we had, a couple movies already, but the big movie was, Endgame. It's going to make, a couple $1 billion. It's already $2 billion, probably make $3 billion, probably be the biggest movie of all times, right? So I think that's tough to follow up. Game of Thrones is ending. That's tough to follow. And then Star Wars is ending in December. Plus The Lion King, Aladdin, Dark Phoenix, John Wick 3, Captain Marvel, a lot of different movies are going. Toy Story 4. There's a lot of stuff happening in 2019, and I don't know if 2020 will be that good, because I feel like the Marvel and Spider-Man Far From Home, Godzilla, all these different things on there too. It's kind of crazy to think that, this is all in the same year. I don't know how it's going to make up for it. I don't know how it's going to go forward in 2020 and beyond. So we'll have the Rick Grimes movie as the start of that. Walking Dead, back half of season 10. Fear, possibly the second spinoff of The Walking Dead. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll have another show on HBO. So I don't know, but we still got a long way to go for this year, and it's pretty awesome. Just Endgame alone is pretty cool. So Renee, what do you think they're going to do with Judith's character? She's a big part of the show. Like, Judith's awesome, and I love Judith, and I love Kaylee Fleming, and I think they're great for the show and to build for the future. But could Michonne really leave Judith alone? So Michonne goes to the movies. Is Judith going with her? I hope not, because I would want Judith on the show, but would you really buy that Michonne left Judith and RJ? Maybe Judith does both, but how does she get around? I mean, where is Rick that they get around so easily? And where has Rick been for the past 6 years? And why has he not made, contact with anybody? And why hasn't he been able to leave? Does he really have amnesia and he can't remember? I don't know. So he's going to see Michonne and be like, hey, I don't know who you are. No, that would be terrible, right? Rams at the PT channel. Do you think the blonde-haired kid that's new, I'm Fear, could possibly be the one kid Michonne let go in that season 9 episode? I don't think it's probably in Fear, but I know the kid in Fear the Walking Dead that I'm referencing is Dylan, not Winnie. And Dylan is a boy and Winnie is a girl. So I hope they bring back Winnie some way, some sort of connection there too, because Winnie clearly got away, and that's a loose end. I don't want that to happen. We don't like loose ends around here, right? So we'll see what happens. Dirty Kenzo, I'm optimistic about the spinoff of Game of Thrones. Fear was okay at times, and Better Call Saul is amazing. It works sometimes. Exactly. I think Better Call Saul works because of that universe is kind of open to a little bit. Better Call Saul was a secondary, tertiary character that we could follow, that we've already known, that we could connect the dots with. And the best part of Better Call Saul is that it's connected with Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad's one of the best shows of all times, and it connects with characters like Mike and, Pollos Hermanos and all the people like that it connects there to a show. A spin-off show should connect to the main show in one way or another, some form or fashion, and I think it makes the best sense for that. Fear the Walking Dead should have had that going for it, that eventually it would connect. Morgan's a little forced, the Whitey Boy's a little forced, and a lot of people are forced to that there. We'll see if it makes sense. I don't know. It's just something that I wish was a little bit better, and I hope it is too. So Marie Antoinette's Cake. I love that name. Q&A. Hi, One Eye Bride. Do you think HBO will do a Game of Thrones movie as a continuation feature of its current story cast after next week's series finale, etc.? I don't know. This is kind of the same thing that happened with The Sopranos. Sopranos ended, and we were like, what? What is that? I mean, literally, the screen went blank. And I was like, did my cable go out? And then we're like, they should do a movie. They should do a movie. And then James Gandolfini died. So Tony Soprano died. So you can't really do a Soprano show without Tony Soprano. So that's interesting. So instead, they're doing a prequel movie called, I think it's just called Newark now. It was supposed to be like something, the guys of Newark or something, and John Bernthal's in there, and a couple of people are in there, and actually James Gandolfini's son is in there as young Tony. And so it kind of works because it's a prequel movie to a show that we're connected with. And I like the prequel idea. A lot of times it works good. Sometimes it doesn't work. Like Star Wars, it didn't really work that well in my opinion. And that's why in my book series, I had to go a segue there, Fight for Us is a 9-book series right now. Book 10 will be out in October. And I'm trying, it's kind of tough to how it connects, but it's coming along pretty good. A little slower than my other series, but I have a prequel book series that's going to be at least 3 parts, but it's a prequel book series that the plan is to tie into my Fight for Us book series. So a lot of that's got to connect, and it should come around. And so one time it might be a prequel book series to connect there too. So it should be pretty interesting for that. And I like that idea for sure. Joey the Gator. Q&A, is it true that Fear, the new season in June, is the last season? I heard it was. There's been talk that it's the last season. It's not saying the final season by any means. But I just don't know how they're going to do a Fear show and a Walking Dead show and a third show, a second spinoff, and the movies. That's just a lot of content going forward. Even though AMC, the executives are like, it's in its infancy. The Walking Dead universe is just getting started. And you're like, really? 10 seasons in and you're telling me it's just getting started? I don't think that's how it works, bro. As a lot of seasons and a lot of shows only last 5-6 seasons. Sopranos, I think, was like 5 or 6 seasons. Breaking Bad, 5 or 6 seasons. I mean, a lot of shows only last 5 or 6 seasons, and you've already doubled that. So it could just get a little too much, a little too on there too, for sure. So let's see what you got for it. Joey Gator got that one. Thank you for the support, guys. Appreciate it. Amy C, since there's Princess of Newark, and it has Gandolfini's son. Yeah, James Gandolfini's son is young Tony Soprano, and John Bernthal's in it as is he Dickie Moltisanti, Christopher's dad? I think he is, but I know he's in there too. So we got a bunch of things here. So yeah, guys, we got a lot of good stuff tonight. Game of Thrones season 8, episode 5, the battle at King's Landing. Team Dany, Team Cersei. Who are you on? I mean, who's rooting for Cersei? Anybody? I mean, who could you, right? So, Eye in the Dark 2. Hey, Bri. How are you? I'm not sure if it actually is Madison Lintz's birthday today or yesterday, around there too. But that was Sophia on The Walking Dead. But tonight, like I said, tonight is Game of Thrones season 8, episode 5. It's an extended episode. I believe it's an hour and 18 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes or so. So it's over an hour. Should be a big battle. Emilia Clarke is saying that it's bigger than the Battle of Winterfell. So I would assume that it's bigger and better and badder because of the Battle of King's Landing, the Golden Company, the Scorpions, Drogon. It's only Drogon now, which is kind of crazy. Daenerys, I always want to call him John, even though he's Aegon, but John, Davos, and the Dothraki, the Unsullied, Grey Worm, the Mountain. The Mountain versus the Hound, the Clegane Bowl needs to happen tonight, right? I wonder what's going to happen with Arya. You know, a lot of people are pissed about these past episodes, but they're going to watch. You got to watch tonight, right? It should be a big, big moment. The Hound and Arya were going to King's Landing, and everybody was going towards King's Landing. And it sucks for Missandei. It sucks because for Grey Worm, and, you know, Missandei did nothing to anybody. She was like Team Dany. She was her, you know, advisor. She didn't hurt anybody. She didn't kill anybody. She just advised and worked with Daenerys. And then she gets taken out, and you're like, oh. And there's a funny picture of Grey Worm, and he's like really sad, you know, obviously for what happened. And he looks down, and it's a picture of a ice cream cone, and he's like, me Sunday, like my Sunday, like, oh, I dropped me Sunday, he's like, me Sunday. It's kind of funny. It's a great way to remember how to say her name, though, me Sunday. So we'll see what happens tonight. It just has to be Dracarys all over the place, right? I mean, it just really has to. And, you know, I'll be kind of pissed if it's really not. So we'll see if the prophecy comes true with Cersei and the younger brother and everything there too, but we'll see. I don't know. Eye in the Dark 2, TWD. Do you think the Golden Army will turn on Cersei? I don't know. I hope so. Some people are challenging, because again, I'm not a book Game of Thrones reader. I just haven't read any of the books. So, and I've read a couple things, the wiki Game of Thrones, that the Golden Company was with Blackfyre, which were part of Targaryens, and the Blackfyre Rebellion, which was some connection with Targaryens. And if the Golden Company army is connected with the Targaryens, you got Dany and you got Aegon, two Targaryens. So if they flip, that would be pretty awesome, and I would love to see that actually. So a lot of the Lannisters, I would assume, got taken out when the Dothraki and Dany and everybody came in and Drogon lit them up. And what happened with those people that Dany let stay alive? Those Lannisters, when the Tarleys, or the Sam's dad and brother, they didn't kneel, so they got burned up. But the other Lannister soldiers, they stayed alive, and they bent a knee to Queen Dany. So what happened with them? Were they at, you know, Winterfell and everything too? But I don't know. It should be great. I'm excited for tonight's episode. You know, I want to see it be a great thing, and I really liked it too. So I'm excited for the way it happens, the way it goes down too. So yeah. So I guess they were part of the fighters at Winterfell. So I guess they stayed there with them, didn't go back to King's Landing. So I don't know. They're not going to have as many people. If the Golden Company is 20,000 soldiers, and the Dothraki are all wiped out, but maybe, you know, a couple hundred if we're lucky. Then you got the Unsullied, which are awesome. But they have scorpions, man. They'll just fire those bolts and arrows all over the place, and they'll just wipe out rows of people. Just imagine that big scorpion bolt, like, flying in, taking out horses, taking out everything. You're like, man, how they build so many so fast, by the way. I mean, they're all around the borders, or are they only on certain parts of the wall, and they're on the ships, and you're like, man, that's crazy, right? But we'll see. Hopefully they burn them all up, and those. It would be pretty great if they find out a way to kind of hijack the scorpions, and they turn them and they just shoot them at their own people or whatever. Like they get up to there and they actually take over the scorpions, and they burn them all around. So that'd be pretty cool. I can't wait to find out too. So we'll see what happens with everybody. And I really hope Daario comes and helps out, because we haven't seen Daario for 2 seasons now. I guess it was season 5 or 6. I can't remember the last time we saw him, but it was a long time. And a lot of stuff has happened by then. And he has his allegiance to his queen, which is Dany. So that would be pretty amazing if you have Daario comes and saves the day, and he is there to protect Dany. Dany wins, Jon wins, everybody wins. Now who's going to sit on the Iron Throne? Is it Dany, or is it Jon/Aegon? What happens with that? I think that's what the last episode's all about. And what if Jon has to fight Daario? That'd be pretty amazing, right? I don't know. But I hope stuff big stuff happens in tonight's episode, setting up the big series finale in 2 weeks. And it's crazy to think that we waited so long for this, and we're 2 weeks away from the series ending. Eventually it's going to happen with The Walking Dead 2. Hopefully we get 10. Oh, sorry. We're going to get 10 seasons. We're going to get a 10th season of The Walking Dead. Hopefully we get 2 more. 12th season. Maybe we get 11. Maybe we get 12. But I just don't want it to turn into this watered down thing where we've lost so many people. So if Rick's not coming back, Jesus is gone, Glenn's gone, Carl's gone, Abraham's gone, Sasha's gone. I mean, who's left? I mean, who's going to be left here? After a while, it's going to be like Michonne's going to go away. Maggie's hit or miss. We're going to lose more characters. Potentially, we could lose Ezekiel and Rosita. It's just great. Are we really going to have Daryl, Carol, Negan? Is that it? And where do you go from after the Whisper of War? You got to go to the Commonwealth, right? But do you really think that the Commonwealth, Pamela Milton, would really fit talking with Daryl? Not really. The whole Daryl Alpha thing works, but Rick's a little more political and a lot more polished, especially talking with, a political governor like Pamela Milton. Maybe it's Michonne, and maybe it connects with the movies on there too. But what's the future of the show after the Whisper of War? I don't really know, but they really have to draw a lot of people in. I mean, AMC is going to be milking that cow for how much it, is worth for many more seasons. But I don't know. I think a lot of people would be pissed if The Walking Dead was season 10 and then maybe we get a season 11 and then a break, or they take a break after season 10. We don't get a Walking Dead for a year. We don't get a season for a year. People would flip out because they're so used to that too. Even though we're really lucky to get 10 seasons in a row for The Walking Dead. They never took a hiatus or a break. They've just added more stuff too. I think AMC wants to keep it rolling. I mean, AMC's got bills to pay. They got stuff to do. They own the studio now, so it's going to be crazy. So, and then we're going to get a second spinoff that's supposedly supposed to take place in Virginia. And I don't know if the word is if they're actually going to film in Virginia, because they film in Texas for Fear the Walking Dead. They film in Georgia for The Walking Dead, and the word is that they're going to film in Virginia for the second spinoff too. So, great question, Janet. Brian, are they just done with Oceanside? I hope not. I hope we see Cindy again and Rachel and those people again as well. Oceanside's got to fight the Whispers, right? And I still stand by whoever signed the charter is going to be taken out eventually. We already lost Tara. Probably will lose Rachel. Maybe we lose Father Gabriel in another season. Maybe we lose Father Gabriel. Like some people are thinking Father Gabriel. I think Janet thinks Father Gabriel, Ezekiel. And we'll see. I think it should be awesome. Twists and turns, big moments. I think it's a big thing. And that's what you want to do. You don't want everything spelled out for you. But now it's like they killed so many big characters. Who else is left? So my list of characters that I just named that we lost, plus we lost Tara and Enid and, smaller characters. But, pretty soon we're going to have just Daryl and Carol. Can they carry the show? I think they can do a big part of the show, but carry it 100%? Maybe not. So, Boyd, Morgan and Friends is the second spinoff. Is that the show? Morgan and Friends, staying alive in a zombie apocalypse. But Eye in the Dark 2, Walking Dead. What did you think of the Fear the Walking Dead teaser? The second one released. It was okay. It was a little cheesy. It was like they're spinning around and they see their guns and they see their weapons, and Morgan's got his stick and Alicia has her, barrel for the, machine gun, and you have this, and John's got his guns, and then you see the two kids, and then his hat falls off. And then you pick up Morgan's line. Morgan's like, if it's dead, you can kill it. What about if it's a person, though? That's pointing its gun at you. Are we still going to worry about that, Morgan? Because I understand all life is precious. But is all life precious? Not really, though, right? And that's my biggest knock on Morgan. He's like, everybody's life is precious. Even people that are terrible. Right? No. Not everybody is worth saving, Morgan. In my opinion, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, this and that, you know? Come on. Joey the Gator, will Negan kill Alpha? I don't know. Again, that's a big comic moment, but will that happen on the show? Only stuff will tell and time will tell what the show wants to do and carry over. There's always remixes. There's always twists and turns, and there's always times that they do some big moment in the show that is remixed with different characters. So I think that happens, but I'm not sure if it's with Negan or not. I Am the Dark Angel Theory was posting pics of her, Cassidy, and the girl that plays Cindy in Georgia. Very cool. So hopefully we get to see Cindy, Lydia, and Kelly. Cindy, you got to come back. I mean, I know you were filming a different show. I don't know if it was Pretty Little Liars or I don't know if that was the show. I know she was filming something else, but Cindy, if you're running Oceanside, bring Oceanside back into the fold a little bit, especially with the Whisper of War. We're running out of characters, so we'll have to see. Magna, Yumiko, Connie, Kelly, Luke, they can carry stuff for sure. For sure, you know. Doctors are just doomed on the show. So Enid was a doctor. She got taken out, you know. It's just not a big thing. It's not good on there, too. So is Sadiq in trouble? Maybe. So, yeah. But, Mr. Trek, Fandom, where are we at on there, too? I still say if The Walking Dead makes the virus jump species and animals turn, it would be a whole new ball game. Well, I don't like the animal idea. I personally like the I Am Legend way that dogs and animals are immune. It's kind of cheesy when you have like a zombie tiger and a zombie this, and you're like, that's a big enough problem already too, you know? It's just crazy. Yeah. Maybe Mr. Trek also wrote, no one will sit on the throne. Hopefully Drogon will melt it down. I think Danny goes Dracarys crazy and stuff and fires everywhere. And I think that's the vision that we saw in season 2, that I think that's what happens with the Iron. I don't know if the Iron Throne gets melted, but I know that the hull and everything could possibly get tore up if that's true, if that's what the vision is, too, for sure. Do you think Daryl will take Rick's lead? I think he already has. I think Daryl's already been. He's not the lead. He's not replacing Rick Grimes, but it's a combo. Well, if you think about it, Daryl had all the parts with Alpha. He took Maggie's part with Alpha. He took Rick's part with Alpha. That's for sure. Daryl is one of, if not the lead. It's the big three: Daryl, Carol, Michonne, and then Michonne leaves. It's Daryl and Carol, and we'll see whoever's left. I don't know who's going to come back around, but we'll see. Very, very interesting on there, too. So I'm going to go for a couple more minutes, guys. And we got this, we got that. Let's see what we got here. Rick Slade got that. A couple more questions. So ask your questions now. I'll do some rapid-fire stuff here. Janet Q&A, Brian, do you think Morgan will flip his philosophy of all life is precious and revert to clear mode? I like Morgan, but the back and forth annoys me. I agree, too. It's a little of this, a little of that. It's kind of annoying. It's pretty this, it's pretty here. And it's like, what the heck is that? I'm not a big fan of take everybody out, save everybody. Take everybody out, save everybody. Keep people alive, save people. It's like, come on. Just have a blurred line. When you're this way and that way, I like being a gray Jedi, not the dark Sith or the Jedi there. He's got to be a little bit of both. Be a little bit of Sith, a little bit of Jedi. I mean, come on. That's the way of the world here, especially in a zombie apocalypse. I mean, come on. You got enough problems to worry about. Keeping people alive should not be it. Keep the people you trust alive and keep it rolling. Yeah, I have to watch Eye in the Dark 2. I'll have to watch a little bit more of the Fear Walking Dead teaser and probably do a little more breakdown of it. But I'm excited. We're getting close to it. In a couple more weeks, it'll be back for sure. So, the sick pigs just died. Yeah, Mr. Trek wanted the sick pigs. Did you really want to see a zombie pig? Or do you really want to see a zombie baby? I just think that's kind of a little cheesy on there, too. A little cheesy. Boyd, will Charlie die in season 5? I don't know. I think she's a character to build for the future. I think Alicia's safe. I think Morgan's safe. I think the Whitey Boy's safe. I think Strand is safe. I think hopefully John is, but I don't know what they want to do. Althea, it's just kind of like, I don't know what they're going to keep people around. So, I mean, the cast is getting a little bigger for sure. So, yeah, I think Charlie survives. I think they did a lot to keep her alive, and the whole Alicia thing too. I think Daniel will probably die in season 5. And I think we'll lose one other character. I just don't know who it is for that year. Mark, Bri, how will Dwight just walk up to Fear? Is he looking for Sherry? I don't know. I hope so. I hope that's what the whole thing kind of is, because it would make a little more sense for that too. So I hope Sherry is there, or introduced, or talked about, or mentioned a little bit. And why did he just leave? Because I understand that he left because if he's like, if I ever see your face again, I'll kill you, is what Daryl said to Dwight. But I'm like, you didn't have to go all the way to Texas, bro. You could have just went to D.C. or somewhere else, went to Ohio. What if he was part of the Commonwealth? That could have happened too. But Renee, that's just my guess. I don't know if Daniel's going to. That's not a spoiler or anything. It's just my prediction on there too, because I love him. He's one of my favorite characters, but I think that's a good way to blend the old season with the new. And if he comes in, and he can go just like that too, because we can get we want to have the whole ups and downs and the whole story arc. And I think he can do something big and get taken out. Do you think Morgan will come back to The Walking Dead? I don't know if Fear the Walking Dead will ever mesh with The Walking Dead, because I think they like having spin-offs and year-round Walking Dead content and The Walking Dead universe. So there you go, guys. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here this Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you, yours, your moms, your wives, everybody that's a mom out there too. And I guess you could be a mom, mother of cats, I don't know, mother of dragons, Danny, Team Danny tonight. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you haven't already, please check that you're getting notifications. I know something's up with YouTube or something lately. So if you want to hit the bell off and then put it back on again to make sure you're getting notifications, sometimes that works. So thank you guys for watching. I'll do my review of tonight's episode tonight. Some breakdowns, some Easter eggs, some connections, some of that. Then we'll be talking about Fear the Walking Dead. Next Sunday, I will not be able to do a live stream because I will be in South Florida with my wife and her family, so the in-laws kind of thing. I'll watch the episode. I'll do my review of Game of Thrones, the series finale, next week. And then it'll be Memorial Day weekend, and I'll have a live stream that Sunday, so I'll be able to talk about the series finale of Game of Thrones, and then hopefully more Fear the Walking Dead stuff. So stay tuned. Please hit that subscribe button to join our PT channel, Walking Dead family. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, and making memories. Enjoy tonight's episode. Definitely check out my book series if you can, guys. Fight for Us on Amazon.com. 9 books coming soon. Book 10. See ya.